Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ari, and today we're going to have some more stories about our toxic life. But before we start, it would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to my channel, like the video, if you enjoy it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now without further ado, let's go. Today's first story. In this story, in a 3-year relationship, I supported my ex-girlfriend through challenging times, including job hunting and teaching her to drive. However, frequent arguments, her bipolar condition, and self-harm threats added complexity. Suspicion arose when she began acting secretive after taking an overnight job. Eventually, I discovered flirty messages with another man, leading to the relationship's demise. She denied cheating, claimed toxicity, and moved in with him while spreading negative stories about me. Despite blocking her, she continued to lie. Now let's get into the story. So my ex-girlfriend of 3 years recently cheated on me with her coworker. When I first met her, she had nothing, no job, barely any money, and no car. She was living with her mother until she got kicked out. This isn't the first time she's jumped from house to house with family members or friends. So I took her in to live with me at my mother's house. We'd been dating for about 9 months when this happened, but we were already very close and we loved each other. I helped pick her up from school. I gave her a place to stay when she had no job or money. I fought every day at my job to get her to work at my job, and she eventually got hired. I helped teach her how to drive and was there when she got her license. I was there to bring her to her graduation when she really had no one. Eventually, when she was getting financially stable, she wanted to get a car, and I was the one who helped her. It wasn't the best car, but it got her from point A to point B. During our 3 years together, we obviously had arguments, but that's normal. She also was very bipolar and didn't use many manners with people, so sometimes I thought to myself that she was kind of different from me. During the relationship, there were a lot of arguments, and she was that person that didn't like the silent treatment or didn't like to see me ignore her. When we needed to cool down, she would keep poking me and provoking me to keep arguing with her and then get really emotional to the point where she threatened to kill herself if I left her. I will admit there was a time I gave her a 1-inch punch to the arm because I was dealing with a spine injury and she took my phone away from me when I didn't want to argue. I just wanted to look at TikToks. She grabbed me and even dug her nails into my skin so I would let go of my phone. She pulled me and refused to give my phone back while I had so much pain in my spine and sciatic nerve. I wanted to just ignore the situation and let us cool down. Anyways, fast forward to the situation. She ended up getting depressed and upset about our job because it got so bad and I agreed with her. So she ended up finding a new job and I was proud of her. Would work overnight and come back home in the morning. But it started getting a little weird because while most couples don't care about not shaving their legs or making sure they're very clean and good looking at times when they're very close, she made sure she looked amazing and made sure to shave almost every day. Mind you, this was a warehouse job, so there was no point in looking amazing there. It had been a month since she started working there and all of a sudden she started working every day overnight and always had some excuse or some story about why she was going to work early or coming home late. She looked guilty, but I trusted her, so I didn't question it. That was until one day I started getting these gut feelings, like really bad, and I decided to check our tablet and I saw messages of her talking to another guy in a very flirty way, even talking about how they couldn't wait to see each other later, cuddle with each other and even going out on dates. When I found this out, my world just shattered and I couldn't believe it. At the time I was trying to contact her from work, but guess what? She wasn't at work, she was hanging out with him. So my dumb self at the time got upset and gave her PC a good punch, which broke some things out of anger and confusion. She laughed at me on the phone when I was heartbroken thinking of all our memories, vacations, and our bucket lists. A week later, after kicking her out, she wanted to talk and we did, but she showed no sympathy and kept denying the cheating and was saying that she needed to love herself right now and that the relationship was getting toxic. I hadn't been showing her the honeymoon stage anymore and the reason why this all happened was because of me. But mind you, I always took her to sporting events, out to eat, to the movies, etc. Almost every day, even after having surgery. She ended up moving in with this person who was younger than me and had a sports car that she liked all of a sudden, who she barely knew for a month. And she told him that I was abusive and that I never loved her and that she wait because she didn't eat, but she never made anything for herself. It was always me making her food or making her smoothies. My mother lived with us to see all this and didn't like the way she treated me. My ex ended up telling me that this guy supposedly was there for her and showed her that he would help fix her and never. Not only me, but all her friends. And her friends cut ties with her because they knew how she was. And what she did was disrespectful to all of us. They also had seen the proof. I eventually blocked her on everything. And she still lies about things with this guy, even though there's proof. She even told him that I'm still currently messaging her at night when I'm the one who blocked her. And I have all the screenshots of her trying to get to me. So what do you guys think? Am I at fault here? Today's second story. In this story, OP shares his shocking story of discovering his wife's infidelity during their honeymoon in Las Vegas. He caught her with another man, confronted her, and ultimately decided to annul the marriage. The wife's family was disappointed, and the man left her in Las Vegas while returning home. He believes he avoided a more significant disaster by not having children with her and used the money she won gambling to help him recover. Now let's get into the story. I can't believe this happened to me, but I feel like sharing it with you all. I met my wife a few years ago at work. We initially started off as just friends. I was 25 and she was 32. We all went out to celebrate my sister's birthday, and at this point, my future wife, we'll call her Zira, had been dating another coworker for 2 years. Somehow, in the events of the night, Zira and I were left alone in drinking together. She admitted to me that she was about to dump the guy she was with. I saw this as an opportunity, so I confessed my true feelings for her and she felt the same way. We then started dating. Ever since, we kept it on the down low to avoid drama, but I didn't think our relationship was going to last anyway. Fast forward 3 years later and the family had accepted that we were together and were helping us plan our wedding. Everything seemed to be falling into place for us to continue our life together. After we got married, I took her to Las Vegas for our honeymoon. Our stay was scheduled to last for 1 week. On the first night there, we were playing at a cards table when Zero went on a winning streak. I wasn't having much luck and didn't want to play against her, so I told her I'd be back in about 30 minutes. When I came back, a man was sitting beside her. He looked very smart and handsome and had apparently bought my wife a drink. I asked him to move down the seat so I could sit next to my new lead wife. He looked distressed but not discouraged. He moved down a seat and we carried on playing. He left at one point, and eventually Zero and I moved to other games in the casino. I saw the same guy again during our vacation. I tried to stay with her the whole week, but on the 3rd and 6th days, we separated for a few hours. When we caught up again on the 3rd day, she was happy to show me all the money she won. After dinner on the 6th night, she started complaining of a severe stomachache and told me she'd be in the bathroom for a while before rushing off. I decided to play a little while she was in there and stayed in the same vicinity. 45 minutes later, I was getting anxious. I called into the women's room for her and there was no response. I frantically called her phone and there was no answer. I decided to go back to our hotel room, wondering if somehow she missed me coming out of the bathroom and went to go lay down. She wasn't there. I called her over and over, even checking the location app we share. But all that could tell me was that she was still in the same casino, even though it probably wouldn't get me anywhere. I started knocking on hotel room doors that were close to her location marker on the app. After 3 people answered the door, highly annoyed that I was looking for someone I was about to give up, I decided to knock on one more door. It took a while before a man answered. I asked him if he saw a woman with Zero's description, and as he was telling me off, I saw her come out of the bathroom behind him, fully nude. She was absolutely shocked to see me standing there. I guess she totally forgot about the location app. Since my heart shattered to pieces, I just walked away from them both towards my hotel room. When she called after me, her voice cracked and she begged me to wait for her. I got back to the hotel room and locked the additional locks so that she couldn't open it. While she pounded on the door and cried, my wheels turned. How could she be in another man's hotel room on our honeymoon? I knew I recognized him throughout the week, but how could she decide to sleep with him? Why would she do it? I couldn't breathe and dropped to the floor. I threw up. Zira heard me, and for some reason it made her sob. Even more people were gathering in the hallway watching the show. I decided to let her in so she could explain herself. She tried to jump into my arms, but I pushed her away and asked her if she was a lunatic. I ordered her to sit down and tell me what the hell was going on. She admitted that she got to know him at the cards table on the first night and told him she was married. He didn't care about that and demanded that she meet up with him later so he could show her a good time and win her some money. He gave her his number, which is why he didn't care when I returned to the table. They met up again on the second, third, and of course sixth night. I begged her to tell me why she would do this. Her face twisted into her crying and she claimed she didn't know that she was a foolish woman who was flattered and impressed by this man. He won her thousands of dollars throughout the week. When he asked her to come up to his hotel room, she didn't hesitate. According to her, he earned a one-time fling. Afterward, she planned to return to me as if nothing was wrong and simply show me the money she won gambling. I put on my best acting face and pretended she was a genius. I told her what she did was worth it for all the money she got from this guy. I told her not to do it again without telling me first, but that I wasn't upset with her anymore. She cried in relief and happiness. It took only minutes for her to fall asleep like all was right with the world. While I snapped into action, I took the $9,754 out of her purse and all of my stuff from the hotel room. I got myself a room at a different hotel. I spent time in a hot tub while I planned my wife's downfall. As soon as my lawyer's office opened, I called him and spoke to him about getting an annulment so that it was as if I was never married to Zira. As soon as I did this, she started calling me over and over again before I blocked her number. She left me 2 voicemails that were mostly unintelligible because of how hard she was crying. She told me she was sorry and she knew what she did was wrong. She asked me to forgive her so that she could love me the way I deserved to be loved. I didn't tell her, but I thought to myself she was supposed to show me that from the beginning, not after she slept with another man on her honeymoon. She'd also mentioned that she didn't have any money to get home. That made me laugh. She had no trouble at all finding a man to win her money. I boarded the flight home without her. It was empowering to leave the person that betrayed me behind in another state. She called her mom and several other family members, asking them for help and telling them I left her there. As soon as they asked why I did that, she didn't have a good explanation. One by one, they got off the phone with her to message me and ask what was going on. I happily explained everything over the internet. While I was on the plane home, she messaged me too, begging me to stop telling everyone that she cheated on me. I replied with, "Maybe you should have thought about what you were doing before doing it." My entire family greeted me at the airport, giving me hugs and support while I handled the betrayal in my heart. No one from my family ever replied to her again. As far as I know, Zira spent several days wandering around Las Vegas without a place to sleep or shower before her mom saved up enough money to buy her a plane ticket home. Her parents were so disappointed that she was no longer a married woman due to her actions that they could barely speak to her after she moved in with them. That was the last I heard about her. I don't think she has a cell phone right now. Although it was the hardest thing I ever had to go through, I still think I dodged a bullet by not having kids with her. The money I took from her helped me recover from what she did. Today's third story. In this story, OP received a long email from your ex-wife, where she revealed that her life has taken a difficult turn since your divorce, including an abusive relationship, financial troubles, and an abortion. She also apologized for hurting you in the past. However, your attempt to respond to her was unsuccessful as she blocked you. Now let's get into the story. I have been happily married for 6 years. My wife is awesome. 2 beautiful kids. I'm living my dream. This is my second marriage. My first marriage ended abruptly after 2 years when I discovered the affair. This was the typical 2 young, perfect kids marriage. The wedding was huge and beautiful. We had dated in college. We both landed great jobs. We worked hard at our jobs but had fun together. She seemed so happy. We talked about kids in our future. I then discovered her affair of 6 months with a guy that I could just not imagine her being with. My split was easy. She was not remorseful, blamed me and pointed out all my flaws. The only time she ever did was after the affair was exposed. I had a ton of family and friends for support. No kids and similar incomes. No alimony. Clean break. That was 9 years ago. Sure, it was tough, but I was young and fell back into the single life. It helped too, because she packed up and moved out of state with him. Last week I got a wave on Facebook Messenger and then a message from her asking for my email because she needed to send me something. The last time I contacted her was in the attorney's office years ago. I was terrified and thought it was about an STD or trying to figure out if she could have been pregnant. I then gave her my email. I then got this long email. It was the equivalent of a suicide note. Without mentioning ending her life, she moved on with this affair partner, as I suspected. She then mentioned that he was abusive and that he forced her to get an abortion. They also had never married. She supported him for 5 years, and he quit his job to pursue some business idea he had. She funded it along with co-signing, which bankrupted her. She got laid off of her job and he refused to move to where she can retain her income. So she ended up working retail. He left her when the money dried up. She moved and tried to get herself on track and was taking ad meds due to all of this and ended up losing her job again. There was a bunch of other stuff too. She ended the email by telling me how big of a mistake she made and how happy she was for me. She apologized for hurting me. That was it. Right after the divorce, I would have found joy in reading this. But now it was just sad. Really sad. I ached over what to do. I typed a respectful email, something that I would share with my wife. Hit send and the email bounced. I then sent a brief Facebook Messenger note and it was blocked. Now what? Do I just delete her email? Should I share it with my wife?